It's June 21st, 2026. Of course, today. Of course. We go in Bob Evans and Alliance. There's an older couple sitting at the other table. They're like, and that one uh, girl that some guy named Will. Do you realize how big a retard you sound like? Retard. Retard. Some guy named Will. You need mental help. Extreme mental help. Some guy named Will. Some rapist named Will. Some scam artist named Will. Some guy trying to pull a big scam here. Will. Some fraud scheme. Some drug dealer named Will. Some rapist named Will. Okay? Said all the information he's got on her. The police won't let him say anything to her about Melissa's kids. Oh my God, don't even start. Not in the mood. A whole group of people come in and sit behind us. And so I start telling Carl's daughter about Melissa and how I called the FBI, how my house was legally bugged on Thanksgiving of 18. That Melissa was caught friends with Dave's girlfriend. And them telling those kids a lie. And that on Thanksgiving of 18, that they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Papa. Then later on the floor, they were making everything up. They were games of pretend. I found out sick shit. And when I went to my son John, I said, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. I told Melissa, that was his ex-wife, that you're going through doors. And she'll just have the kids make up something. Don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. Just be made up because of divorce. She'll have her church people make up something too. But don't worry about it. No one can say anything bad about you. It just be made up because of the divorce. And so I said you shouldn't have said anything till it happened, but he said I did. And since I didn't, it's just made up and no one can say anything bad about you. Don't worry about it. And he excused me. And I told her how he used to be a union rep. Worked for the union, knows thousands of electricians in this area. Taught college for the local union, or for the local electrical union. Knows thousands of people here. Was a manager of several companies. I said, June 3rd, 23, I pull in. They said, hey, isn't that John's mom? He said, she's never heard anyone. And because of these people, he may never see his mom again. And he said, she's never hurt anyone. I said, the investigators were so mad. They called her out in Walmart. She said, I bet they did. I said, why are they having those kids make that shit up? Oh, they're just trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. Her whole family's speaking highly of her. Other ones, Melissa's so stupid. She made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. Called her stupid. They knew the FBI was involved because that agent went to that church. Dave told Danny when I walked off at that church, when he was telling on me, he talked to him. Oh. They all knew the FBI was involved. Even that agent admitted where he met with that family in the office that her father killed their kid. Met with that family in my office where that lost their son in that traffic accident, the one her father killed her kid, the one that on March 27th, 25 admitted to the FBI, they were all lying to the FBI. It never offended them. That it didn't even concern them. Lisa's father killed her kid, but they were in there lying to help him get away with it. The big liars and all the church people in his office before he talked to me, they all knew the FBI was involved. Okay? Admitted on a recorded line. They were all in his office. Knew they were trying to kill me because Strange called me a faker 15 years before to cover up Tim and Katie. When it was a medication error, medical malpractice almost killed me. So, everybody knew the FBI was involved. And so where Dave complained, got all these men around you, Karen, they want you. It's like, trust me, they don't want me. And I got to thinking, what part of my God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there, and all these men show up, and you didn't think they were police or feds? What's wrong with you? I kept thinking that. Well, when we're in Walmart 62 before Thanksgiving 18, two guys said that they work for a drug lord. You want the feds' attention? Say you mention you work for a drug lord. Melissa's willing to help us get away with this. And you're kidding, no. I asked her to have the kids say, well, they wanted to hear what was. So they followed him around. Caught her. And then taped the kids on Thanksgiving of 18 that they were making everything up. They were games of pretend. Officer Mark said Melissa could go to jail for this. I'd hate to arrest her. Her kids are little. Why don't we just write it up that they were showing off for Dave and his girlfriend? Okay? Documented me games of pretend. Other investigators, they ought to be ashamed of themselves sitting around laughing, making everything up. On Karen and behind her back. She's risking her life to get information on, helping us get information on these people. And they're sitting around laughing, making up stuff on her. They ought to be ashamed. And they yell out in Walmart. Okay. January 12th, 22, Officer John stopped two big men at the door of Walgreens North Main where those kids get tape stating they made everything up. Stark County Sheriff's in May of 21, some girls were talking out of state. Oh my goodness, Kurt's going to kill her. He found out those kids were lying. It's like Kurt's Law, right? They were tape stating they made everything up on Thanksgiving 18. He just found out they were lying. And when I got back, some of the sheriffs in uniform were laughing. If Kurt just found out those kids are lying, he is slow. Okay? October 5th, 21, in front of one of my clients in Huntington Bank. I wouldn't want Melissa to get any money out of this. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They didn't want anybody to help her. We go to leave. He's like, who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying everywhere we go. Oh, they were so mad at her interfering in an FBI case. It's like the ex-daughter-in-law friends with ex's girlfriend had the kids make up mean games of pretend on Thanksgiving 18. He's like, is she crazy? I'm like, yes. He said, they're still talking about that girl lying. It's been years. In June 23rd to July 4th of 21, I went to Mount Carmel, Illinois. These people are severe stalking. They followed me all the way down there. That weird Eric that they were looking for stalking me. I got out. Back then I used to smoke. I went to buy some cigarettes. And people's phones are going off. Eric, you said what? Eric, you said what? A drug dealer's lying to them. A drug dealer is lying to them. They start calling me bad names. I lost it in the car. People walking by. Pulled up to my sisters. We don't want you in our town. It's like, you don't want me in your fucking shit-ass town? I almost died to save my family. You don't want me in your fucking shit-ass town? You don't believe I'm innocent? Call the Massillon police, and I screamed out their number. Whole street went quiet. Some guy, a couple minutes later, they said they're documenting me games of pretend she never hurt anyone. March 20th, 26, I'm in Walmart West House by the electronics. An investigator from 18 is in there. He said, I haven't found one bit of this funny since an FBI agent showed up in my office and said that that he got it out of that family that was telling everybody it offended him, strange calling her a faker, that they were all in the FBI office lying to him. Okay? Well, within the last 2 weeks, I was down in Magnolia. People show up. They said we got a hold of the investigator for March 20th, 26th in Walmart West House. That said he hadn't found any of this funny since that an FBI agent had told him that family said they were all lying to him. He said he said that Melissa's documented me games to pretend. She never hurt anyone. That none of this is funny. She can live anywhere she wants. Okay? So, for retards today, sitting at the other table, that older couple retards. You may have took my picture. You want to go to jail for stalking? Some guy named Will, some rapist, some drug dealer named Will, running a scam. The Bill from the Freemason scammer who can steal my money? The big scam artist? Some rapist, some drug dealer named Will having you stalk me? Has all this information. The police told them they wouldn't do a thing with it. Well, you know what? When you tape somebody saying they're lying and their mother telling them to lie and working with drug dealers, pulling a scam on somebody, and the kids are even taped saying they were lying. What? They're not going to say a word, but we taped them saying they were lying. What would you say? You arrested them, right? Those people that came in and sat behind us, even the sheriff know they were lying. They haven't stopped these people from harassing her. Wonder who they're after. Oh, I'd say the Russian drug lord. That or that Iraqi. See, that's where, do they want riffraff running a scam? Yes. But if they have big drug dealers and human traffickers selling and killing people, who do you think they want more? The serial killers. Who did they go after? The serial killers. See, that's where those two guys that said they worked for a drug lord, they showed up, we could said, in front of the FBI and police. We got a big problem. Nobody actually got hurt. We got them saying that stuff and nobody ever got hurt. What are we going to do about it? Then one of them said, well, we'll just say she waited and she took him to a psychiatrist instead. Okay. By federal law, that psychiatrist would have to call the police. What would the police told him? They're documenting me games every time. Why is she abusing her kids? Let's see. What else? Melissa would have went to jail. See, these people are so dumb. They don't know a law. One. Not one law. Melissa would have went to jail for not taking her kids to the hospital. Melissa would have went to jail for not calling the police as an accessory. If something would have actually happened to her children, she didn't get the medical help, she didn't report it to the police, and she sat on it, she would have went to jail. Carl, my new husband, okay, his granddaughter was married and her husband was abusing their 4-year-old. She didn't tell on him. She didn't hurt it, but she wouldn't tell on him. You can't hide abuse long. He's in jail the rest of his life. She went to jail as an accessory for not reporting it. So what would have happened to Melissa? She would have been arrested. That's how the laws wrote. As an accessory. It's a good thing they're mean jokes, huh? It's just like Bill from the Freemasons' big scam. He had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine that? May 25th, 25. Hollister Summit Mall. And had some guy videotape her washing herself in the shower and Photoshop that in the other room, ran the biggest scam off of it. Of who could steal her money. See, that's where the big fraud scheme of stealing money, where Trump's after all these fraudsters. These one that actually are so stupid they took it to the FBI themselves and thought they could rob them. Get the idea how dumb they are. Then, let's see, May 26, 25, the other part of the cartel comes in. We heard they were making fun of Bill from the Freemasons' big scam of the doctor from before not being one of hers works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. And the whole thing's a scam from Bill from the Freemasons. May 26, 25. Or, let's see, March 27th, 25, an FBI agent outside, how he got it out of another Michelle. He was dating on a ruse of the doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. And she actually don't know who he is. And that guy Pete running, wait a minute, wrong one. That's December 1st. But March 27th, 25, that FBI agent, he had got it out of that other Michelle that the doctor from before was not one of hers. He works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. And when they bashed in her head, they tried to kill her, leave her incompetent. It didn't work. And as soon as she told me, I broke up with her. Got it out of Dave that a girlfriend from before made him marry her so he could get a job at her dad's factory, and she'd have free insurance to use. The lady running up bills in my name was another girlfriend. And he got it out of that family that was telling everybody it offended him. Strange, calling her a faker. I asked him, why on earth would you say that? They said that, and it's 6 months later, she had nothing to do with that traffic accident. They told me that they were all lying to the FBI. Never even offended them. Didn't even concern them. They were just helping these people trying to get away with it. They were trying to steal for Dave's girlfriend. That Michelle. She was in debt. So they thought they all could rob the FBI. June 7th, 26, Walmart West House. People were in there. That family and all those people took all their hurt and pain of those people dying years ago out on her, and she had nothing to do with it. Now this is funny. Other people, we didn't know that John told the FBI that nothing bad happened to him. Yes, you did. We didn't know he told a whole bunch of electricians that she had never hurt anyone. Yes, she did. We didn't even know that he asked her to be a reliable name on a court record to watch those kids. Yeah, she did. Mm. Yeah, she did. See, if they act stupid, they think they can keep pulling their scam. Mm. Audrey said that her husband, Gary, his one family member, one of their kids, had lied on him. And they had the police called on him. And the stories didn't match up. Okay? And they finally got it out of that kid. She was mad at him because he wouldn't buy her something, so she lied. See, to me, those kids need to go to juvie for at least a week. Learn their lesson. Actually got it. The investigators got it out of that kid. She was lying because he wouldn't buy her something. Want to get him in trouble for telling her no. That kid should go to juvie. You know, the investigator showed up at Walmart 62. You got it out of Melissa's kids that the only reason they didn't like her is she told them to take 2 bites out of their food. And they were willing to lie on her because they didn't like her because she told them to take 2 bites out of their food before they went and played. Well, they're spoiled brats. Okay, they come in and they would have me make them a big plate. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And then as soon as you get the plate and you set it down, you can throw it out now. You can take 2 bites before you go play. This is why we don't like you. Dave and I talked about it on tape, them saying that in front of that, well, it was in front of the FBI that said it. Well, the agents got it out of them. They said that's the only reason they didn't like me. That I dare tell them to take 2 bites out of their food. My grandmother, she was mean as a snake. She would have said, you sit your butt down and you finish every drop. You don't ever think you can sass me. And if you don't finish it, it'll be your breakfast cold. We don't waste food. You didn't mess with my Grandma Ruth. Got the idea? Like October 5th, 21, where they talk about her lying in front of my client. We go to leave. Who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying everywhere we go. Said the daughter-in-law friends with ex's girlfriend had the kids make up mean games of pretend in front of the place on Thanksgiving of 18. He's like, is she crazy? It's like, yes. He said they're still talking about that girl lying. So these are just mean lies, mean jokes. But they're still trying to pull the scam. Finding retards to take my picture and harass me in a store. That's the one they call too ugly. He has to call people ugly. Da 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 da. Well, you tell the fucking rapist, I don't find him funny, and why are you helping a fucking drug dealer that's a fucking rapist running a con on me? If you actually did something wrong, the police would have arrested you. Or the FBI. Get the idea? But when your mother gets caught working with people that say they work for a drug lord, my God. Willing to help him pull a drug scam off here, my God. And friends with Dave's girlfriend that's in debt to drug dealers. And they want Auntie Shell to get the house, and they get taped like January 12th, 22. Officer John, when those kids get taped stating, they made everything up. They're games of pretend. October 23rd, 2019. I would have never known. where after Thanksgiving 18, where they said Melissa's so stupid she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. They call her stupid. You're more stupider because you're sitting there repeating our drug dealer that's a rapist running a con and taking pictures of his victims, stalking them. You need to go to jail. Harassing a rape victim, some con artist is running a con. Told you they were talking about that girl lying in Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and Illinois in January 1926, after Henry Maffei makes that big scene. They released Thanksgiving 18. People walked into the mall. None of this is funny. Those kids were taped saying they made everything up. And John totally defending her. Oh, they released it to Alliance, in 23, 24, they were calling for arrest. And Magnolia, July 26, 25. So, do I want to hear about made up, mean jokes? And how she works for the cartel? She needs to go to jail. Where Officer Margie wrote her up as a show-off and basically a bitch, showing off her Dave's girlfriend. Where April 6, 25, Dixie was telling Jen, I heard her, that Melissa said that the group of people they hired to watch her and to do those things, she helped hire them. She needs to go to jail for human trafficking and attempted murder, selling kiddie porn to my grandkids going potty, and having me human trafficked. She needs to go to jail as an accessory. There's one thing when you're a show-off and a bitch, and there's another thing when you're an accessory. Melissa said the group of people they hired to watch her, the chief of police up there gets special permission for people to break in his homes. Do you realize how retarded you sound? Set up button cameras watching him. No, he doesn't. We're going into federal crimes here. Break in and do stuff to him, like rape and drug him for fake confession. No, he doesn't. They're lying. And the way they described it made total sense. I thought, God help that girl. She's stupid. Some lady investigator said she can extort all kinds of money out of the government for me and Melissa. Even though I gave her permission on tape to tape me, that I could extort money out of the government for it. Of knowing of Melissa's mean games of pretend they were laughing about. And Dave breaking out the gunshot night. See, I didn't even know what the mean games of pretend. They just told me they'll make up something calling me a bad word. October 23rd, 2019, Brielle's first party. I said, do you know how mad I was when those kids said they wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa? That's not what they said. They said this. Flora said it. And it was sick stuff. Josh is like, ew, don't say that again. It's not true. She said, well, of course it's not true. Of course it never happened. We made it up. They were games of pretend. Sits down next to me going, chuckling. I would have spanked them all. They better thank God I'm not their mother. I would have smacked their behind, marched them in front of the person and made them apologize, marched them in front of everyone that they lied to him, told them they were lying, and then write 100 times, I will never lie again. They'd be afraid to. My dad said you put the fear of God or the fear of you in them to make them good people till they're 18. They don't want to listen. They can get out. Yeah, kids don't know that. They don't come with knowing right from wrong. You have to teach it to them. Children do not know what sympathy and empathy is. You have to teach it to them. They don't come with it, Karen. So back to April 6, 25, where that lady investigator so-called told Dixie that she could extort all kinds of money out of the government, even though I gave her permission on tape to tape me. Okay, surveillance laws. Okay, I'm not stupid, and then I Googled it too. Surveillance laws in Ohio. You can record a conversation if you're in it. It's like recording a party, or a family get-together or an outing. You don't need somebody's permission. You can do whatever you want with your tape. It says right on there, you have the right to record it if you're in the conversation in a home. You are never allowed to set up body cameras. Stalking. Cyber stalking. That's a big federal no-no. Okay? It is illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware no matter what. It is HIPAA. The right of privacy over your medical. It's a 10-year sentence for him. Okay? So you don't need somebody's permission to tape a conversation as long as you're in it. Do whatever you want with it, your tape. Okay? It's a one-party conversation as long as you're in it. Okay? And as long as you're not a doctor. It's like taping a party, like family get together. People take videos of everything like that now. You can do whatever you want with it. But when you give somebody permission on tape, do I have your permission to tape you? Yes. Is it okay I taped you before? Yes. You have nothing to say. You had nothing to say anyways, but now you doubly have nothing to say. Okay. Said that lady investigator said that even though I gave her permission of taping me, of knowing of Melissa's mean games to pretend her kids were laughing about, and day breaking of the gunshot night, I can extort all kinds of money out of the government, and she'll extort all kinds of money out of the government for Melissa too. Sounds like we want nothing to do with it. And said some lady investigator showed up and asked me if I knew about tapes before. I told them we knew nothing. Asked me about a tape of Weird With Yourself, said we knew nothing. Okay? All right. And we won't have anything to do with it. And that she had giant bruises. And she was really sick. I seen her like that. Dixie, like, it doesn't mean anything. She said, yes, it does. And I seen her like that. I didn't put it together. I realize now what they were doing. And we won't have nothing to do with it. And she said, Melissa said, poor Dave, poor Dave, had to sit in the basement and listen to her have wild sex with other men. I don't blame him for what he did to her. And turned around and walked out. I thought, what men? My wild sex? What are you talking about? And I thought, he let them in to hurt me. He sat in the basement and listened to them drug me and rape me. That bastard sat in the basement and listened to it. My God. I had 3 weird nightmares before the FBI. And I realize now they were drug cases. The sound of footsteps. A white man's arm with a syringe coming over. And the room going dark. And then I wake up. I can't breathe. I can't see. I'm screaming in agony. And all I could hear is screams and pain everywhere. And then nothing. I thought they were nightmares. You listen to that shit. I don't understand, Agent John, why you didn't shoot him. I'd get well, water was orange and chunky. I would get, and it took a couple months to get a water treatment system. I thought it was toxic. Within a week, I had bruises all over me, throwing up, severely infected. I'd even scream when I went to the bathroom. I was dizzy, throwing up, and almost passing out, and it kept happening. And I'm blaming the well water I'm showering in. I thought it was giving me cancer, and I told the doctor that. I got all these bruises. I don't know where they came from. Too full now, maybe becoming anemic. I've been throwing up, dizzy, almost passing out. We'll get you something for headaches. We'll get you something for nauseousness. I said, my muscles are killing me. We'll get you something for pain. Here I'm being drugged, being raped. In my own home, and nobody thought of a rapist. May 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning. The Los police are outside. Some ladies with them. And said, I didn't know she knew surveillance laws. I was going to trick her out of a bunch of money. It's called common sense. I had better teachers. And I know how to use Google. And I can't trick her out of money because she knows surveillance laws. I'm tricking Dixie and Melissa to put their name on it so they get arrested. Or they set out years ago, they were setting my kids up to be arrested. And she won't be around to find a law to protect them. It's like, leave the dumb girls alone. I reported her to the FBI, the sheriff's, the prosecutor's office. Entrapment is a crime within itself, where law enforcement tricks you into doing a crime you wouldn't do on your own. Okay. It said the investigators found the surveillance on May 26, 25, Walmart 62, of the cartel coming in and saying that they were making fun of this in Summit Mall, that this whole thing is a scam from Bill from the Freemason of the dirty doctor not being one of hers works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is, and that the whole thing is a scam. Officer got out of the car. She mentioned Bill from the Freemasons. This whole thing is a scam. The investigators found the original case. Said that her ex-husband hired two men out on his own. One was saying he was an attorney, so it made it legal. He said, no, it didn't. Made it worse illegal. What is a jail sentence for an attorney? If a husband hires him to set up button cameras in a home, stalking his wife without her knowledge or consent, disbarment 5 to 20. What is a jail sentence for an attorney hired by a husband to set up button cameras in a home, a private home? A husband hires him to stalk his wife with button cameras in a private home without her knowledge or consent, has her taped in the bathroom, showering, photoshops that in the other room, and has men break in to drug her for fake confession, being raped under drugs. Life imprisonment. Okay. All right. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent if he tells an informant if they say anything, they won't have protection? It's attempted murder. Aiding and abetting crimes, obstruction of justice, and tampering with a witness. What is a jail sentence for an FBI agent if he tells an informant if they say anything they won't get their money? It is blackmail, extortion out of government funds, crime against the U.S. government because it's government funds, tampering with a witness, and obstruction to justice. It is 20 to life. What is a jail sentence for a judge if they would sign such court order? 10 to 20 years, and they would be made to pay that money to the informant. You get the money for risking your life and only risking your life to get the government information. That's it. As it says under in those laws, no man or no one can take, in the eyes and the color of the law, no one can take your rights away. You have a freedom of speech in the United States. The only time a judge is even allowed to put a gag order on you is in a jury trial or a grand jury. That's it. And only while the proceedings. We live in the United States. We have a freedom of speech, and no one can take that right away. No one can take your right of privacy in your home. But police and agencies under a threat of life, with statements from everyone that lives in that home, of the threat of life, it has to agree to protect someone. And have a court order. Even the FBI would go to jail. They're just police officers, higher ones, but just police officers. No one can be in your home. It's a right to privacy over your home, and no one can take your rights away. The only time they can be there is the threat and attempt at life case with statements and a court order, and only police and agencies, not rapists and drug dealers. And not some guy named Will that's a drug dealer and rapist running cons on people. Bill from the Freemasons' big scam. April 17th, 25, she's in Hartville. That pretty Michelle that agent was dating was having a meltdown. I talked to the police up there. They said, how dumb were you telling that guy that the doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied. He was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. And when they bashed in her head, they tried to kill her, leave her incompetent. And it didn't work. And as soon as I told that guy, he broke up with me, and I really liked him. And I wanted to marry him. They said he's an agent and she's some kind of informant, and we could all end up in jail for this. And I really liked him. It was echoing across the parking lot. March 24th, 25, Summit Mall, the Texas groups up there. Muslims, ladies in hijabs, and other people for the cartel was up there. And they were saying, you tell that guy Will that was to pull a scam off here, that it's all wrong, that other Michelle told on him that the doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied. He was one of her doctors. The whole thing is ruined. Tell him we said take care of it. September 30th, 25, 1 o'clock in the morning, a biker was revving his engine, and they had brought Dave's girlfriend, Michelle, down. Was yelling at him. The guys running it said no one's to say a word to her life. They found out this whole thing is your family's debt to drug dealers. Is that what's going on? Yes. Does she even know who you are? No, I don't want her to know who I am. She doesn't even know you, and you had her raped and tortured or skull bashed in because you were in debt to drug dealers, and your family was? Yes. I'm sorry. I listened to her and her friend Matt talk January 13th, 23, that the Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life because they thought he was letting all those people be human trafficked, and it was your family letting them be human trafficked, and your family even human trafficked people to pay off those drug debts to drug dealers. Yes, I'm sorry. She sold children. She sold children for sex slaves and to be murdered. And she's sorry, though. People after that were complaining from New Philly to Massillon to North Canton that Michelle admitted she even human trafficked people to pay off those debts to drug dealers. None of this is funny. Okay? Everybody heard because they sold a login. Okay, back to September 30th, 25. said, I found out it was your family that was inciting her new husband's family to steal, threaten his life to steal his farm. Well, yeah, but I wanted that farm. I really liked it. Hmm? Okay. Like it makes it okay. Said I listened to the cartels in 23. The original cartel already admitted they photoshopped everything. Did you know that? Yes. Did you know that they confronted her ex-husband if he knew it was medical malpractice, fraud, and medication errors that made her sick before, and that they encouraged them to sue those doctors for years? Yes, I knew that. Okay. Take January 1926. Bob Evans in Fairlawn. Okay. When the case first started, I had an Instagram account. Some guy texted me, I think you're beautiful. It's like, thanks. Said something about love on a beach and something else. I don't know him from Adam. Okay? People talk about him when I go out to stores, and I thought this is weird. That guy from Instagram texts me something. And then people are showing up saying that they're drug traders, human traffickers from Florida, and they work for Judge Peters. Okay? I've seen a guy driving by look like him. I thought, you look like that guy from Instagram. This is weird. I don't know him from Adam. Okay? People would say later on that he was insulting me and all this other crazy stuff. I don't even know him. Then I didn't hear anything about him, so I figured the cops got him or he ran. Well, on the way up there, I told Carl, I said, these people that leave threats, they need to realize I'm an FBI informant. I'm in immunity for life. And they can't touch me with their scams. I said, they can kiss the Stark County judge that signed the protective custody case. They can kiss his ass. They can kiss the FBI's ass. They can kiss Agent John's ass. They can kiss my government immunity, government protected informant ass. They can never touch me, and they need to embrace it. Them and their scams. I turned on MC Hammer, You Can't Touch This, and we've lived through a lot, and we're joking around in the car, laughing. Hey, you can't touch this. Well, I didn't know Henry Moffitt was even around. And here it pissed him off, and he came in and confessed. He's like, I go in and I sit down, and Carl had to use the bathroom. He's like, I'm the one that got a hold of her online. I thought, you look like that picture from years ago, but a lot thinner. I proved with those text messages that she was cheating. Now, he only told me he thought I was pretty, something love on the beach and something else. I don't know him. That's not cheating. He's a weirdo. He said, and I tell all men she's not good enough for another man. And I'm glad I never met her in person. I thought, fuck you. You're ugly as a horse's ass, and you wouldn't have got a pity date. And he's like, her dancing around the car like a little kid with her new husband. The officers that watch her for the case only watch her because they feel sorry for her. They like me, and there's a quarter to her. He said, I'm the one that told her new husband's family that I'd steal everything for them. Found out his son was down there vandalizing stuff on the property. Told him to stay out of it. I'll steal everything for them. What'd that girl say? It's her family. I found out the other Michelle is telling on us for what we're actually doing. God, he confessed. Yes, she has, and you confessed. Where that girl, they threatened her life. She went badass and told on all of them, or her friends. So proud of you. I've never met you, and I'm proud of you. And he said, I have a judge's friend that'll enter all my tapes in court without her and without the FBI. And while the FBI is busy with Minnesota, I have my judge's friend enter all that stuff in court, have everything signed over to me, and I'll be long gone and steal all the cases money from the FBI for myself and pull a fast one on them. I thought over my dead body. I wrote the president. I wrote the OPR and the DOJ. I wrote uh, the FBI Internal Affairs. I wrote the sheriff. I wrote everybody. Not a damn dime. December 1st, 25. I'm in Walmart 62. They still have it. An investigator came in with that pretty Michelle that's telling on all of them. He said she had showed up, that Michelle had showed up in his office, told him that these people confessed that the whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. They all were, put it that way. And that the doctor from before was not one of hers, works for them, and they had lied. He was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. And that guy Pete running his mouth, she doesn't even know who he is. It's just some guy Dave hired on his own. These people admitted to using hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before, and she has no memory of those people. And the tape of Weird with Yourself is nothing but photoshopped of washing in the shower in the other room. The whole thing is a scam. August 4th, 25, they admitted to using hypnotic drugs on me, and that's why she had a metal taste in her mouth and no memory of those people. Okay. August 5th, 25, Dutch Valley Restaurant in Sugar Creek. As if Agent John didn't know, they used hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. He was telling everyone he knew she was being drugged, beat, and raped. Before the case started, he said he didn't care. He even let him torture her as he's some kind of coward. August 7th, 25, Walmart 62 would still have it. Investigators coming in laughing. We got him again admitting to drugging her and telling her to say it before. And now admitting to using hypnotic drugs that cause sleepwalking and no memory. And the metal taste in her mouth. And them calling Agent John a coward. We got him taped. After that, from August into September, people were in Walmart and said those people were hiding behind doors. Where she would come in and wash her hands and go and make a sandwich and a drink, then go in and use the bathroom, come out of the bathroom. And they would reach out, they would be hiding behind doors and reach out and stab her with a hypnotic drug. And she don't even remember being stabbed. Would sit down, take a drink in the room, and go to Sam Black. She don't remember being stabbed. And I thought, stabbed? When would I have been stabbed? And I thought, I bet I thought it was a bee sting or a wasp. We had big, giant bees' nests in the back woods. And they were always getting in the house, and it was nothing to take a broom and swat them. I even told Dave that we needed to get an exterminator out there to kill those bees off. He's like, you'd have to spray the whole woods. So I probably thought I got stung. And you're not thinking to look for a person because nobody should be in your home. Audrey, Carl's daughter, said they were watching this program on the cartel. That hypnotic drugs is their drug of choice. That they load up syringes and go to raves, big parties, walk around and stab the kids with them. In less than a minute, they're sleepwalking and they'll leave with them without fighting. And they were even showing how much you could control somebody with a hypnotic drug. They had a guy volunteer. They drugged him with it. They told him to go to the bank and empty his account, bring back all his money. He did what he was told. He said they were videoing, taping his face while he's talking to the teller. They said we all knew he was drugged. He was a hair off. A hair of responding. A hair. And when he came back, gave him the money after it wore off, said what happened. He had no memory. I met a U.S. Marshals kid that had been drugged um, by the cartel twice. She was moving out of the area. She had went to Jersey's bar, and she took a drink in the room with Dizzy and Black. She don't know what happened to her. And she waited a while, went to another bar, and she said the same thing happened. I took a drink in the room with Dizzy and Black. And I ended up in the hospital. I don't even know how I got all that far. It's like you're sleepwalking with those drugs. She's like, I know it. These people showed up and said they knew she was a U.S. Marshals kid and they couldn't resist. They were playing with her on purpose. Okay, my coworker Dar was in a bar and her friends were giving her space because she had lost a baby. Okay, and she had twins and one died, and they took her out to get her out because she was crying all the time. Gave her some space, and she ordered her a drink, and she only remembers taking a drink, and she don't remember anything else. And they said she acted a little happy after that. A group of people came up. They didn't know. She's talking and acting fine. Left with them. She said she found herself in a puddle of pee. Got herself home really sick and messed up the next day. A couple months later, she ended up in the doctor's office. They said, well, you're pregnant. She said, how can I be pregnant? I haven't had sex with anyone. They had raped her, redressed her. She said, it's not that I don't love my son, but I don't know what happened to me. She has a weird memory like I do. She said, I have one weird memory of screaming in agony at the top of my lungs and nothing attached to it. My neighbor Mike got drugged in a bar in Louisville. I used to smoke. I didn't like smoking in my apartment. Okay, so I'd step outside. Um, he came up to me. I got a problem. I don't know how I got home. I said, go sleep it off. You don't understand. I've been sitting there for hours. Well, what do you remember the second beer? I'm like, go sleep it off. He's like, you don't understand. I got money in my pocket. He starts pulling out all this money. I'm like, check your bank. He did what I told him to. He took 100 out. That's where the money came from. He said, what was in with the box with mustard? How do you change my shoes? I'm like, you need to sleep that off. He looked at me and said, I used to be a New York cop and you're pretty. You want to go cuddle? I'm like, you need to go sleep that off. He said he was really sick, and later on, and then uh, weeks later, I catch up with him, and I said, you told me uh, uh, you were a New York cop once. He said, I don't even remember talking to you. I could have told him to say or do anything. The dangers of using hypnotic drugs. Hypnotic drugs cause sleepwalking. You can eat, drink, drive a car, have sex. No memory. You are sleepwalking, wide awake. And the different drugs that cause it, there's a whole list. The dangers of them. The mind controlling drugs they talked about. And then when people act stupid, this is 2026. In the 1960s, they had LSD, acid, other drugs, hallucinating drugs. Hippies would take it, freak out, kill someone, kill themselves. People were taken, wide awake, acting crazy. They had all kinds of drugs in the 60s. It's 2026. Everybody knows the slang of roofies, date rape drugs. That you're wide awake and stoned out of your mind. And you have no memory of anything. And now they have hypnotic drugs, and they've had those for a long while. They leave you in a hypnotized state of you can respond, you can talk, they can tell you to do stuff, they can tell you to say stuff. and you'll never remember. Rapists preying on people in their homes. Why are people horrified? Horrified. Predators breaking in private homes, setting up button cameras, stalking someone. Why aren't you horrified? Taping them in showers, photoshopping stuff in the rapist tapes. Worse, having people hide in homes. Reaching out, jabbing somebody with an injection, they look back looking for a bee or a wasp, and here they duck back behind a door and let the person sit down, and it takes effect in less than a minute. The person comes out of it, they got bruises on them, throwing up, infected, the room's spinning, they're going to the doctor, what on earth is wrong with me? Is it the well water? Is it toxic? And they never seen or talked to anybody. And nobody thought of a rapist. And where did you think it's funny? Huh? I had a CAT scan on my stomach, and the doctor said you were beat in your stomach several times extremely hard. You have extremely large pouching in your intestines, only caused by being repeatedly hit. They almost ruptured my intestines. I had bruises on my stomach, my legs, my arms. I even had them on my neck once. Orange, lemon, grapefruit sized bruises. Deep purple, black ones. I have permanent swelling in my intestines. They almost killed me. After the FBI case, they didn't care. They induced vomiting until I lost 70 pounds. I'd already lost 18 when the case started. My stomach shifted under my ribs from the induced vomiting. I have a damaged rib cage, a damaged shoulder. I had to go on bladder spasm medicine for 2 years from being tortured. I have a dent in my head where I was stabbed in the neck, bashed in the back of the head, beaten, raped, and left for dead. I now have to have surgery on my eyes. When you're hitting the head so hard they put a dent, well, it could have killed me. And by the grace of God, am I alive? I now have fast-growing cataracts growing on my eyes from the pressure being changed from being hit in the back of my head. It's like the scar tissue comes forward. They said my eyes are healthy. I'll be able to see really good once I have them taken off. I have to have eye surgery. I talked to the eye doctor and he said it was caused by that dent. I almost died helping the FBI. I had to be their golden child. They got Judge Peters out of Florida, 100 men, Michigan cartel, several, California, Texas, the king from Texas's men, huh? Buffalo, New York, human traffickers, Georgia. There was a guy from Tennessee, one from Pennsylvania. North and South Carolina drug dealers bringing their crimes like they're not stoppable. And they would tell people, we got an agent in our pocket. You know, last year, outside my apartment, after March 27, 25, their whole scam's run. That other Michelle told on them. The guy in my old apartment on North Chapel was out there trying to pull a scam in Louisville. Started with Amy and Harry. I was in there when they met with that agent. I thought, oh, hell no, I'm looking out the window. Said, where that church is sending out emails asking people to harass her and to harm her. Our religious group was the first one to be there. I thought your religious group is an occult that hurts people. He said, so he knew the whole thing was a scam. He's in there scamming the FBI too. Now he's scamming Amy and Harry. He said, and when that agent asked her who was, if she knew who that doctor was, she said she didn't know who he was. He knew she was lying. I wasn't the one lying. He turned her back over to us. He said he didn't care what we did to her. And we have special permission from the FBI to harm her anyway. I wanted to say, he's delusional. Don't listen to him. Well, I got married April 2nd. And I stopped by Amy's afterwards. And I said, Amy, do you remember 19 when they used to yell stuff at my apartment? They drugged me and told me to say it before. She said, I remember that. I went, this is it. I said, do you remember when that little white man screamed at a big drug dealer? You framed her before? Yeah, we framed her before. Shame on you. She said, I remember that. I said, this is it. Do you know that idiot went around knocking? Now, I've lived in that apartment building for 6 years. 6 years. He went around knocking on doors. You need to be afraid she's here. I thought, I'm not the one you should be afraid of. Some old ladies in the white apartment building came out and said, that guy's confessing he's part of this. The police always said it was drug dealers that did it to her. Don't say a word. And he's in it with drug dealers? Yep. Well, his mommy dear showed up when I got my new car. Said, that's a really nice car. I know, it's a really nice car. We thought if Melissa and her kids showed up and said something about her, they'd steal her car from her and make her make the payment while Melissa drove it. The police said they don't steal money or assets. What do you mean you want her car? And they turn everything around on us. We didn't know you had to have proof. We thought you could just say it. Because they're dumbasses. But thieves. Then they were out there, we want that agent to show up here. Explain himself. He said he didn't care what happened to her, and the drug dealers showed up and he arrested them. I want him to explain himself. Well, cocky little thing. Well, then last year in Alliance, when that agent didn't show up. Oh, that and what they said about Louisville. They said it seems like all law enforcement know about that FBI case. And no officer would dare touch her with that open FBI case. Seems like the only one that don't know about it is Louisville. And we got to find somebody stupid enough to arrest her and dumb enough to do it. So they thought Louisville was stupid and dumb, so they went to him. May 30th, 25 at 1 o'clock in the morning, that lady's outside. How she was going to trick Dixie. And Melissa. Yeah. They found the original case. Then these people said, we'll get their case thrown out. That agent told on her for calling the FBI before he talked to her. He admitted on a recorded line he had everybody in his office. Everybody knew. He was bullying her on the phone. He don't have authority to ask anybody to stay quiet, and it's illegal. Then he opened a real case with statements, and then he left her there and stole her money. He was defrauding her the whole time. If they can either pay her money and stand up for their case, or we'll get it thrown out. And every drug dealer released, and they'll sue for tens of millions of dollars of false arrest under fraud. And they are trying to go after the case now. September 10th, 25, Tuscarawas County Courthouse. I'm in the prosecutor's office. There's a guy behind the door. I want her to have nothing when I get done with her. I want her to hate her husband. Out walks a white man with black hair. He's shorter, doing a mean stompy man dance, walking by. I thought, I've seen that walk. Where have I seen it? Judge Lori was talking out after the hearing and said some office was here, called her the biggest liar. There was no one around her. And, okay, and everybody's to get even with her. Some guys behind the door, we have the right to do those things. No, you didn't. Beginning of the case, in 18, I went to Walmart 62 by the old hair salon. A white guy with black hair walked by saying crazy crap, doing that mean stompy dance. And he walked out, and the investigator said now that him and his drama is gone, we can get those people they hired her to tell everybody to follow. He can deal with his drama himself. And we don't feed into religious heresy. It was a guy they called Drama, trying to get the case thrown out. Caught under police surveillance in a courthouse September 10th, 25. I was talking to my friend Walter. He used to work at the Stark County Prosecutor's Office. He said the FBI needs to move swiftly and move very swiftly at this point. He said they absolutely have to pay you. All informants are paid. He said they have to pay you to seal the deal. And they have to call down that Tuscarawas County Courthouse and tell them that you're one of their informants. And that case is legitimate. And that guy you want, they want the surveillance of him trying to get their case thrown out. Because if they don't pay you, they were defrauding you. All informants get paid. An agent doesn't have the authority to ask anybody to stay quiet is bullying you. And no judge could sign it, be signing his own arrest warrant. They told me that part before. But he told me absolutely they have to pay you, and they need to pay you fast. And that seals the deal, because all informants get paid. And they have to stand up for that case. And once they stand up for it, that it's a legitimate case, and they paid you, and that it seals every loophole. It makes it a legitimate case that they themselves were not defrauding you the whole time. You have to be paid. See, that's where Bill from the Freemason scam of stealing my money, once they pay me, the scam's over. You can't steal money on photoshopped a washing in the shower by a rapist, drugs and told to say it by a rapist, or mean jokes trying to help Auntie Shell that's in debt to drug dealers to get the house, and documented mean jokes, and nobody ever got hurt because they're mean jokes trying to scare you out of stuff. You don't get money for that. You know, years ago, I was in Kohl's. Somebody had told an investigator, why don't you do away with the tapes before? These people already admitted they photoshopped everything and drugged her and told her to say it before. They said there's nothing to do with them. They're not admissible. These people wasted their time. There's actually nothing against her. And nothing they have can be used. They wasted their time. It's the right of privacy over your house. For the right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person, your places, your homes, your papers, and effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. No searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause, warranted, court order, without oath or affirmation of people, places, or things to be searched or seized. You have the right to remain quiet, and you also have a right to an attorney. Those three rights. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements and a court order. There's nothing else. It's a right of privacy, and under the eyes of the law, no one can take your rights away. It's a felony invasion of privacy, illegal monitoring, cyber stalking, wiretapping, voyeurism. Then you got drugs, kidnapping, attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon, human trafficking. These people have 100 years ago to arrest them.